Welcome everybody to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Joel, Polymaker Joel, Community Manager Joel, etc., etc. As long as you don't call me stupid. You can call me that too. I expect it in the chat now that I just provoked it. But for those that are new to the show, we are a 3D printing making show. We like to talk about 3D printing news. We like to talk about, or not talk about, but show off community prints from our Discord. And ultimately, every week we meet a new maker, and whether that is a community member that's doing an awesome project, a content creator, a CEO, a whatever, anywhere across the board, always looking for new faces to talk to and meet. So we will do that later in the show here. But before we get into the show, if you're new here again, I see a first time chatter there, Musaka_32. Type in I am awesome. You can see that scrolling along the bottom of the window. This is the last reminder until the end of the show that you'll see it, but we do give away a filament at the end of the show. So enter now for your chance to win that. You can do it multiple times, but it only gives you one entry per person. So get that in there. Twitch, YouTube, doesn't matter which world you're in. It works for both. I'm still waiting for YouTube to get a winner. I think we're 44 episodes in and we've not had a YouTube winner yet. So good luck to YouTube over there. But that is all for now. Don't forget to enter. Welcome to the new year, everybody. Let's start with some new news. So first up, we're going to talk about the Anycubic S1 combo. We've talked about it on the show before when they announced it. I think actually it was shortly after Formnext because they showed it off at Formnext. But it is available now for order/pre-order. Shipments aren't going to start until February to March, depending on your location. But right now, I think there's 3 days remaining that you can get it at early bird pricing. First off, about the printer itself, though, is it's a 250 cubed enclosed printer. Of course, high speed. You got 600 millimeters per second travel speed. It does have the option for the combo. Of course, comes with their Ace Pro combo. And that's their AMS option, their multi-material, their multi-color option, whatever you want to call it. And then this can actually go up to 2 of those units for a total of 8 colors and multi-color printing. But it does also have, this is where I think we're going to start seeing more of this year, a 320 degrees Celsius hot end. A lot of everything was always based at 300. We're starting to get some of those special filaments that require a little bit more heat, like our PPS. So this will be able to do PPS. 320 is the recommended temp for that. So again, everything else pretty much the same. Multicolor, it does poop, it does have waste, it does have purge towers, depending how you do your settings. But right now, early bird pricing is $549 for the combo. So that's going to be with one of the Ace Pros. I think they sell the Ace Pro separate now. I don't remember the price, maybe $300 or so. But normal retail price is going to be $749. So if you are interested in this and you have had a success with Anycubic, I won't say material, but systems or units, then maybe it's a go-to for you. I have not used one. I don't think there's much out there yet on them, but you are able to buy it separately for $379 as an early bird pricing. That's no combo, that's single color. And then the retail for that's normally going to be $549. So right now you can get it with the combo or with the Ace Pro for the price of a non-combo unit in about 3 days when it goes to regular pricing. So again, if you're interested, it's up on their site. Go ahead and check it out. And if you do, let us know how it is. Next up, we're going to talk another product is one that I was excited to see. I started actually seeing it guys like ads from Tom Salanderer. I think I pronounced that right. But he's been showing the Voxel PLA X filter. This is a direct replacement for the carbon filter on the X1 and the P1 series. Not the P1S, but not the P1P, but the P1S for enclosed, because that's the only one that uses the carbon filter. This is a HEPA 13 and carbon combo filter. So it does both. What basically increasing from the carbon. The carbon helps remove some harmful VOCs and odors. But the HEPA 13 helps eliminate toxic nanoplastics. So with it, it's a superior filtration is actually allows, or doesn't allow, it stops 99.95% of harmful nanoplastics. So not just the odors, but it's going to help with what we're actually breathing in that we don't know we're breathing in. For the price, these are $5.99 a piece. I don't see a reason why not to replace your carbon filters with these. Especially, I mean, I'm sure we'll start getting some more technical reviews of people using actual high quality air monitors. If this does what it says it does for $6 and it can help increase your health and any possible harmful effects of 3D printing, especially if you do a lot of it, I mean, it's $6. Why not, right? Next up, we're going to talk about a 3D printing breakthrough for lightweight cars. Japanese scientists from the university, or the Tohoku University, have developed a durable steel and aluminum alloy using 3D printing. Now, with that, certain metals, it's hard to combine them. Number one, whether you melt them down and try to combine them that way. 3D printing is allowing them to do it layer by layer. But also what they found is typically what would happen when they do it in the past is you could get them to fuse, but it would become a very brittle metal. So it wouldn't be really usable in many things. But they found that actually, I think it was, they up it. I don't think I had it put in here, but they increased the scan speed of the laser, because this is metal 3D printing, of course. So it uses lasers. They increased the scan speed of the laser, which suppressed the formation of brittle intermetallic compounds. I'm probably going to do that a lot through the show, so I apologize. I'm still getting over this sickness from last week. So there's a lot of coughing, and I'll try to hit the mute button every time. But this is going to be used in, again, lightweight cars, being able to have a firm structure and continuing to decrease the weight of the vehicle. Right now, they've just been successful in a suspension tower. So from there, as they develop a better method, it can go into full frames. So we'll see. This is going to be a fun show. The more I talk, the worse it gets. But on to the next article. This is going to be Miami Beach is getting a 60-foot concrete sculpture park. Right now it's on the beach itself. It's going to actually be submerged in the water. I can't remember how far off the coast, but about in 20 foot of water. It's going to serve as a functional artificial hybrid reef and also a scuba park for people to scuba dive around. See the wildlife that is going to start, inhabiting it and living around it. So it's going to be about 46 total star modules printed, and these are not going to be plastic. These are going to be concrete printed stars, so we don't have to worry about throwing more plastic into the ocean. We have plenty of that as it is. But it's created in cooperation with Madco 3D and 3D Potter, and it blends art with functionality for sea life, and also for consumers to go out there and again scuba dive. There we go. That's a new one. Scuba dive. And this is a render of what it's going to be looking like once they get it all set up. Right now, it's just the picture that they showed was a bunch of concrete stars sitting on a beach. But definitely a cool thing to just help wildlife or sea life, and something fun to go scuba dive if you scuba dive. I have this motto that the show must go on, so that's why you guys are dealing with me muting, coughing, and drinking. So apologies there. But last but not least, we have the Polydye, which is inkjet blended with 3D printing. This is really cool because I don't have the print that they had showcased on the article, but we've talked about the Mamaki printers, which is a resin printer, completely different, that is able to do multicolor prints, and it comes out really awesome. The print that this does in this method is kind of similar to that look. And what it's doing is actually using transparent filament. And then as it prints the layer, it also injects ink from the inkjet onto each layer to bleed through and then, kind of make it that color. Now, you won't get super vibrant colors because of the way it is blending, but they had a Deadpool bust that was actually really cool. If you look it up, Polydye, there's a couple articles, they'll show it. But actually Teaching Tech has shown this on his page. If you guys go check him out on YouTube. Right now, this is working on a Neptune 2. It is only compatible with Marlin firmware. Right now, of course, that could change in the future, but the requirements they needed, Marlin was the one that was able to hit all those check marks. But it's right now successful in testing, and there is a beta unit available for $199 if you wanted to purchase yourself and set it up. There's, of course, a lot of 3D printed parts that you'll have to print yourself with it. Or you can also source all the parts and just source it yourself if you don't want to buy the kit. Probably cheaper, but you'll just have to buy from different locations and different timelines of when you're going to actually receive them. But again, they're using a translucent filament for the best results. The hardware consists of a main board, daughter board, printed parts, and wiring. So not a whole lot involved in this. And again, for what I've seen being successful, they said the biggest thing is setting up the SD card for the programming of the poly die itself. But once it starts printing, it's good to go. It's doing the layer, it's inkjetting over it, doing another layer. So it's printing pretty much normal with the added effect that it's putting ink down for each layer. So might be a cool new option we see, especially if somebody commercializes this and be able to pop in an inkjet cartridge and get, you know, full color. And this would be full color. You know, you don't have purge, you don't have towers, you don't have poop, you don't have any of that. It is just your normal print, then injecting ink into each layer. So again, I thought it was a pretty cool tech that maybe we'll see more of. So that is it for the news. I'm going to cough, and then we're going to check out the community highlights. Okay, back for now. Let's see how we can do this. I'm actually running a bit behind here. Daddy Wazzy has printed this, and this is shown off on our Show Off Prints channel at discord.polymaker.com. And this is his take on the X1P1 hot end light box. He's added it. There's a couple different wall mounts that are like this that are large. He made it so it's got the transparency through the lettering. So that way it also uses specific rope lights provided by the Maker World kits. Apologies again. But yeah, so the kits, if you go look at this on Maker World, he's got it posted. You can download it, and actually links to the kits that it uses. And it's cool because the lights, you know, as you see in this, there's a better picture that's a GIF that you can watch that it looks like filament extrusion. So it's a perfect fit. He made the nozzle to fit it nice and snug, so it works very well. Power wire comes in from the top, as you can see. So just an overall really cool print. I made a solid version of this before he designed this, so now I'm probably gonna have to reprint one. Thanks a lot, Daddy Wazzy. Next up is a print by Fitzy True North 3D Printing. Long name, but this is, why is that? Okay, everything's sized weird. My bad. This is the Complaint Department Grenade by F. La Monica, available on Maker World. Anybody that's worked in retail, I have many years in retail, they understand the point of this. So I'm sure we all would have loved one on our desk at some point in time, but this is a fun print. So, okay, next print, we got Frankenbee. Again, not as big as a normal print that Frankenbee does. He usually does like 6 foot tall things. But this is going to be a helmet, the skull helmet from Galactic Armory. It's available on their website or their Patreon. I don't think they do single links on like Maker World or printables, but if you go to Galactic Armory, you can find this print along with a ton of other helmets. So just a really cool print from Frankenbee. Next up, we have Maker Megan, and this is I called it the Cooling Fan Circuit Coaster. There was no name. She designed it herself. And this is actually a couple different variations. It's a silicone pocket with a black printed, everything you see black is printed. Everything color is not printed. That's vinyl. And what's going to happen after this is pouring resin over it and making it a coaster, a resin / 3D printed / vinyl cut coaster. So a lot of different making put into this. I just thought it was really cool. I'd actually zoom in because I'm like, is it really just vinyl? But meticulous vinyl work there. I would not want to weed that out and try to stick it on anything. But not available anywhere that I could find currently. But maybe she'll share it once she completes it. And last but not least, this is a print from Tin Talon. This is a Bear in the Rack by Hun and Nick 81, available on Render Hub. So I don't have an icon for Render Hub, so that's why you don't see it there. But scaled up to, I think, 6.5 foot, I believe. This thing's huge. And not only just printed, but then painted. And you can't really see in this picture. I use this one because it showed the scale the best. But some of the other pictures that are on our Show Off Prints channel show the painting and the color and the detail is insane. So this was an awesome, just a big print. I always love to see the huge prints, especially when they have them painted and detailed up like that or multicolor. I also hate to see them because then I get jealous that I don't know how to paint that well. So just an awesome work, an awesome share. Figure good way to end off the community prints for the show. But we're going to break for commercial. And when we come back, we're going to meet our next maker. So I'm going to go cough for about 3 minutes during this commercial, try to clear my throat out, and then we'll see you here soon. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Poly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to Polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go! Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch. I dropped it again from the 12th floor and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external condition. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Have you had bad customer service with your filament provider? Have you ever gotten a bad spool and never got a response when you emailed the company? Well, that won't ever happen when you reach out to Polymaker. Some people say that no company cares about you. Wrong. 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 If you never got a response after emailing a company that you've worked with in the past, you may be entitled to better customer service. We at Polymaker pride ourselves on good customer service, and we won't ever keep you waiting for a response. Email us now at support@polymaker.com and we'll get back to you within 1 business day. We'll fight for you.
Welcome back, everybody. I only coughed once or twice or 50 times. Try to clear everything up. I have a cough drop in now. We'll see if it helps. If not, then you're just going to see me mute and apologize 20 more times. But enough of that. We're here to meet our next maker. This guy I have got to know over the course of directly a year and a half, I'd say. A little over a year and a half. But you guys have seen him in the Discord. You've seen his work throughout the website. You've seen him at rep festivals, helping out at many of the booths. So, with that said, let's go ahead and meet Disturbed Medic. How's it going, man?
Going good. How about you?
Not too bad. I think I'm going to turn your mic up a little bit here. There we go.
Quiet.
What's that? I had to turn down, I think, from the previous show. If anybody, if the audio doesn't sound good in one of us, then let me know. But welcome in, James, or Disturbed Medic. I'll probably call you James throughout just because I'm used to that. But for those that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So obviously James, aka Disturbed Medic. Medic is Nick usually still calls me. Yeah. Most people still call me Medic, even though I'm as close to being with Polymaker as I can be without being an employee. But I still am Medic, so go by that.
And you're still Disturbed.
Very much so. Lovely play on words. The band, my username came from Xbox days. My Disturbed, the band, was one of my favorite bands. I have the same issue you have currently. And I was also a paramedic at the time, so I said, well, I need some kind of fun Xbox, name for Xbox. Yeah. Well, abbreviate Disturbed Medic, and you got to be a little disturbed to be a medic, and like the band Disturbed, so it kind of played in both.
All worked out.
Did.
So now with all that, then what was your entry into 3D printing to start it all off?
So initially I ran across, it was probably 2017 or so. I actually went and saw the movie Rogue One in theaters when it came out, and there was some members from the 501st there that were cosplaying, and I was like, that's really cool. I kind of want to do something like that. So I started looking, trying to figure out, what I needed to do. So after a little bit of time and researching, I was like, you know what, I'm a 3D print myself a armor suit. And I bought a CR10S for my first printer. In 2017, at the time, they were going for, I actually looked on Amazon, it's like $630, I think it was, for that printer back in 2017. Did some printing, did a lot of printing with that printer. Never did print the armor set. I just decided it was very tedious, and
more
that printer
was going to be.
Yeah, and that printer was obviously, it's a labor of love type thing. I spent more time messing with it than I did actually fixing it. Or actually printing with it. So it was a constant. So it was constant. I think the first helmet I printed, I sliced it, got everything up and running, put it on there. It was a 48 or 50 some hour print, and it got about 3/4 done and it just stopped. Like it was finished. And it was an issue with exporting the SD card, and so another lesson learned. But eventually I got a little better with it and learned how to print things, and eventually upgraded to a Prusa MK3S, and printed a lot of things with that printer. Printer served me well for a lot of hours.
A little more reliable too, huh?
Very much. I did have a few blobs of death that were my own fault, running it overnight, and just, part came up, and next thing you know, it just encased the entire hot end. So new hot end assembly and back up and running. So anyway, so I printed with that for probably 2 years or so. Then COVID hit. Printed thousands, and I mean thousands, of the face shield adapters that you use for the
PPE stuff.
Yeah, PPE stuff. And honestly, I printed so many that I got kind of burned out with 3D printing. Just because I guess all I printed, and I did it all on my own dime for friends. A lot of EMS stations around my county,
being a medic,
a couple counties over.
People involved,
nurses, knew tons of people. So printed tons of those. So it sat for months, and I was like, you know what? It's just sitting here collecting dust. I actually hit up my good friend who lives local to me. Is in chat, Nervous Pajamas, and said, hey, I'm taking a break. Here's the printer. Essentially, sold him a fully assembled printer with all my filament for essentially the price of a kit. And nice. Which was still, so he still has it. He's still running that printer. Still works great for him. So again, took about a 2-year break roughly, and then I saw an ad for the Bamboo X1C.
Got pulled back in.
And yep, and I was like, that looks kind of nice, and it's fast. So I put on a pre-order. I think it was in October of 22. Got my printer the end of December, right around New Year's. Yep. And so I printed that. Finally got that printer in, and that's when I was like, okay, well, I need filament again. So it's like, well, what do I, started looking around. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I kind of go in phases with Twitch, where would watch a ton, and then I'd take a little break and I watch a ton. So I was like, hadn't watched anything in a while. Let me search 3D printers on Twitch. So I searched up 3D printing, and who popped up? Who was live? Loyal Moses.
Same origin story as me with Polymaker.
Yep. So it's kind of how it started with you as well. So I started watching Loyal, bang enter for in the chat. Won a couple spools here and there. That was right around the time of his. I think that was the second print drive that year for 22, or maybe it was 23. Either way, it was around that time frame. And I was like, okay. And so started getting into it. Joined the Discord, and then started hanging out with people from the Discord. Kind of turned into, I started I really liked how Polymaker work printed. It's some of the easiest filament to print without, you don't have to really do it. Not that you can't do fine tuning to get it better by any means. That's always, good practice, but you can get that close to being perfect with pretty standard generic settings.
Yeah, not have to mess with a whole lot. Yep.
Yeah, and I can spend more time printing and less time tinkering, which is the whole reason I was enticed by Bamboo, like a lot of people, and started buying essentially entire lines of filament. When I was like, okay, well, Nick was dropping discount codes during the holiday season that year with 40-50% at the time, and I would essentially say, all right, I'm getting all the Polylite PLA, and add them all to cart, add the code. Boom. Next thing I know, I have 100 plus rolls of filament in a month span. and I was like,
quick.
It does. So it started real fast. And then, like I say, joined the Discord. Then I started talking with Nick and, Zombie Hedgehog when he, was frequently around the Discord doing Friday night hangouts. That was a thing a couple years ago. And just, hey, I do product photography for a living. Let's, maybe we can work something out or whatever. Started out with a little trial run. Actually, the first thing I ever did with them was the Turtle Man cars with the dual silk.
Okay, was it the low poly ones?
The low poly cars. So did those, did the photos. He was happy with them. They did, worked perfectly as he wanted, and or what he wanted to convey. And so, like I said, it kind of started from there. And it gradually it developed into spool photos, into scientist photos, did the rep wrap, which is where we met, and just kept on blossoming.
On and forward, yep. Now, of course, with the spool photos and then the scientists, because were the scientists, when you started printing them, were they mainly for photos, or was it with the intent of the game?
It was mainly the intent of the scientist game at the first Rep Rap Festival, Rocky Mountain.
And I think that was I want to say 250 or something. And you printed what majority of those? I think for the first iteration.
I printed all the PLA, which was at the time a little over 200 or so. Okay. And then the other community members. So at the time we had a lot of community members that were, as most people, you kind of gravitate towards the filament style that you like. Some people diehard PETG, some people diehard ABS ASA. Some people like those high engineering, what's now our Fibron style filaments and stuff like that. So we essentially, it was community, figured out, well, this person does really good with this and this person good with that. And everybody printed it all together. And essentially, I think they shipped everything to me, and then I shipped everything to the event. But yeah, I did. Again, I think it was probably close to 250 of the PLA scientists. And at the time, I only had one printer. And I was printing
loading, unloading nonstop.
I was literally I had it set up where I could essentially do 3 prints, because at the time I could only do 2 at the time with that current model, and the way the slicers spacing was back then on the Bamboo
the per object thing.
And it wouldn't let it go, but so you can get a little closer now than you used to be able to. And so I was doing 2 scientists at a time per object, and it was just literally, I think I was doing 3 cycles every 24 hours. So I would get up in the morning, take the ones on the plate off, start over with a new one. Later in the afternoon, start another. Before I went to bed, I'd start another. And it was just rinse and repeat. And of course, that doesn't include any failures, because back then Bamboo wasn't very good with the detection. So they would
so if something lifted
so
everything else.
So we'll just silk in general, if the silk would give a false positive, like there was a spaghetti detection. So, and the problem with that, though, is that you would get halfway into the print, it would see the shimmer stop. Well, if you tried to restart, you would see a dedicated layer line where it stopped and started, and it didn't look as good. So I'd have to start it right over.
Redo it. But
So-
then that was a success. So that was because that was the first iteration of the game that was at Rocky Mountain, 2023. Yeah, the first year. Yep. So and then of course, as you talked to, is started getting involved with the Rep Rap festivals, which was Murph 2023, right?
23. Yep, Murph 23.
Yeah,
Nick had decided to he couldn't go, so he's like, let's give the community a try since the community had developed. So myself, Pez Liz, and Zombie showed up there, and then you also volunteered as since you're local enough to be able to go to it. You showed up, and unfortunately, that's how our friendship started.
Unfortunately, listen to this guy. We joke that we're brothers from another mother and father because it's just. Yeah, we hit it off. We
did.
We left sore. We're
very much
a little overweight, a little out of shape, a little old, and the bending down and picking up nozzles and balls from the knockdown game was a lot of work. I mean, it was definitely a workout that year for sure.
Very much so. But yeah, I think I ended up hobbling back through the airport that when we left because I pulled a muscle in my leg from bending up and down so much, where I'm out of shape and the shape is round. So bending down and up several times, I was very much sore that weekend. But it was
too. We had was it Oozbot? That was our neighbor with the ABS or ASA fumes and heat just
and the
billowing
fans
into the back of the booth. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's constant. So the heat from that next to us, and like I said, we wouldn't got a fan because we were by the door back at the very back that year,
trying to get some fresh air in.
Trying to get fresh air in to cool us off, and it was a fun but long weekend with all that. But definitely enjoyed it, and of course, like I say, we hit it off, and turned into an amazing friendship that has obviously developed professionally and personally.
We got to work events. Well, what now? After Murph, we've done 4 more events so far together.
Yeah.
We did 3D, Earth last year, and then, Rocky Mountain, Murph, and Earth this year. And it's just, it's been awesome.
Yep.
It's been fun. We get into shenanigans. We give each other heck.
We do.
We're not afraid to tell each other how we feel.
Very, very much. There's been a couple times, and we've had to, voice our feelings very directly and get the point across. And, but again, we're both at the same, from the same sheet of fabric, so we kind of get it hit it off pretty. We don't take it negatively. It's a very positive.
And
all right, I got you, understood, and we'll get it done.
Oh yeah, and it's been fun, of course, and you helped a lot throughout last year, with the Discord and everything. 'Cause, I mean, I came in, just as you with as a contractor and whatnot, but you had a lot more experience with Discord because you helped with throughout it, kind of with Zombie, of course, doing a lot of stuff, and then you kind of helping after that. I came in blind. Like I knew Discord as much of joining a friend's chat to voice chat while we played video games, and that was the extent of my Discord knowledge.
Yeah.
So I learned quick that at everyone is not a command that you really need to ever use,
especially when you have those privileges.
Didn't realize quite to the extent of the privileges what they unlocked, but I learned quick. But yeah, I mean, James, you were the mentor for that to show me a lot of things. Hey, where do I find this? Like, how do I change this? How do I do this? So
yeah, and I've over the years I've run some other Discord communities, and just so I've kind of learned the ropes on most, not to the extent that Nick has done some of the stuff, some of the bots and stuff he has, but with enough time research you can obviously figure it out. But yeah, I had a very good basic knowledge of how to essentially do and what need to be done, and so kind of run it from there as it went, and of course then as the year developed, you started taking those reins more and more, and I started working towards other projects.
And still plenty of room for improvement. Still learning things as I go, but we're now a 10,000 member Discord, so we got Zombie to thank with helping out in the beginning. You helping out throughout, then into my transition and taking over. So it is definitely not a small feat. There's been a lot. I mean, and those are myself and Zombie, of course, being a big part of it. Nick, of course, being a huge part of it. But really, I mean, the community has been.
There's a lot of.
You've been part of it. You've seen it. It's a good self-governing for the most part. We have issues here and there, but most things get taken care of pretty easily without too much craziness.
Too much issue,
so.
yeah. And we have, of course, there's good moderators there as well that really help keep things in line during the day when we're both busy or away, or there's always somebody kind of watching. So it really helps.
And
As you say, the community is very self-governing, and they handle themselves, and that's one thing I really always like about the Polymaker Discord is there isn't a lot of misinformation that's spread throughout the Discord. Everything is very vetted and articulated well in responses and help when people come in and say, "Hey, I can't figure this out. What do I need to do?" There's always such a good knowledgeable
and a lot of different perspectives too, because you have three people that might have the right answer, but the right answer could be conveyed in different ways, especially with people new to printing and everything else. So it's been helpful there. I mean, I still see you answering questions before I even see them come up. Like I don't understand how some of you guys watch Discord as much as you do, and it's part of my job, and it's still like, oh no, somebody responded to that. Okay, well, I guess I won't do that. So, and that's the thing. Like I said, these are non-paid people. They're not paid to help run the Discord or answer questions, but they're willing to, and that's just amazing. So, we'll have a celebration soon with that.
Very much.
I might have to bring in some of the OG Discord builders. Zombie and James. Maybe we'll get Nick to make a cameo.
Oh wow, that'd be special.
We'll see. I've got a lot of planning to do with the holidays and the sickness. Has thrown everything off. So we'll see. I've got some ideas, and I've got what we're gonna move forward with. But I just gotta plan out the finalization of things. But but so other than that, like, is there anything that you're working on lately, 3D printing wise or Polymaker wise, and that you're allowed to talk about at least?
Yeah, most of my stuff isn't really anything currently that's like hush because by the time it gets to me, it's already out or coming out, and it's just essentially providing content for the website for Polymaker. But so as you've been noticing, like they've been updating the website since the Panchroma and Fibron launch. Yep. So I've done almost all my printing for the last probably 6 months has been probably 95% Polymaker. Where I'm printing, so like the Panchroma experimental, the Panchroma what was regular, now the experimental copy, printing models for that, getting engagement photos of that, PNGs to put next to spools, all the rainbow line, the Fibron line, all that, all those different things. So essentially, if you see majority, I would probably say 60% of the prints that are on there on the website currently are probably prints that I did and photographed for the website.
Yeah, because we're getting to the point. It's basically, and I know it's not all of them, but I think the Panchroma mainly is getting like a model per color, right?
Correct. Yeah, everything. The goal eventually at the end is to have every SKU will have a model per print. So, and of course, it's a long backlog, obviously, and trying to work through the more popular and things, because obviously the Panchroma being recently released, that's kind of the first, go-to. So starting with there, then we'll expand to the other lines, like the standard, like what I guess currently is the Polylite lines, like PETG, ABS, ASA, things like that. We'll eventually start getting into that, where we have, again, a print per model and have that, a print, a photo, next to a spool, and also like in an actual environment.
Yeah, and the idea of that too is to kind of showcase the material better than say what the scientist shows. The scientist,
right?
It's a fun print, but it doesn't really show the best surface effects and everything else, since it's kind
of
because
most people haven't printed a scientist, so they don't really understand like what the scientist really conveys. So having something like a vase or just something realistic that you can kind of relate to. In an actual environment that kind of really shows what it looks like, when you get done printing it.
Oh yeah, and as Zombie said, you got a lot of pictures that that are coming up. I think for a certain spool, there's certain spool that we have on our website doesn't have the best of pictures that showcase the color of it. So
there's some weird, some weird red.
Yeah, incoming soon. But we'll move to community questions here in just a minute. So anybody that has a question, go ahead and ask it in here for James, whether it be 3D printed related, Polymaker related, photography related. This is the guy that knows his stuff. And I see one community question already from Pezliz. I ask, how long should one arrive at the airport before their flight?
At least an hour before the departure date or departure time.
Did you have a problem or something? Or
I may have had an issue with a brother from another mother and father that said, you can just walk right in and 45 minutes early and it's fine. And they'd already essentially closed boarding. And again, I literally ran through that airport.
And did you make it home?
I did, but only because I literally ran through that entire airport. Now, great, it's not a huge airport, but I'm out of shape, round.
Yeah.
So when I got finally made it to the plane, they actually opened the door for me. They'd actually just shut the door to the gate, and they called my name. I was like, yes, that's me. They said, come on, and literally let me on. I'm talking, when I exaggerate seconds, I am not exaggerating seconds.
I'm surprised you left out the part where you ran inside to try to make it in time, and then had to sprint back outside to give me the luggage because they couldn't take the luggage
and had to call you
too late. And then I
had to call you back. Saw you pulling up, and literally, I have a big suitcase that has 4 wheels, and literally, as soon as I saw him, I said, go. I just pushed it towards him. I don't care if it fell over, whatever happened. I was like, whatever, and threw him my suitcase because I couldn't carry it on. It was too big to carry. And then it was nice enough to get through the checkpoint. People let me go ahead and get through, but I ended up leaving because of my hurry. I actually ended up leaving my ID in the little trays, and had to call the airport to see if they had it. They did, and ended up having to ship me my ID. So thankfully, I didn't need my ID the rest of the trip home. But yeah, so that was
the story is that you should show up when I tell you to show up.
Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, I did that the first time. It didn't work out too well.
Hey, you know what? I lived off of that. All the flights that I've done this year, and I have not missed one yet. And my luggage has made it every time.
Yeah, well, and again, my only assumption is different.
Columbus, not Dayton, like you did. So maybe that's the thing.
Maybe, and I went where I was told to go because I didn't know, and now I know. So that was a fun trip.
Yeah. So Zombie Hedgehog asks, what's your favorite camera, body, plus lens for filament pictures?
My go-to for all my product photography, which I just upgraded the body last month. So this is the Sony A7 IV. If I can get the camera right. I was running the A7 III for the last several years. So all the spool photos that I've done up until December were on the A7 III. The lens is still the same. It's a 24-70 2.8. I prefer the body, the camera, or the grip, battery grip. Get more words right here. So it gives me a little extra grip, because I have to do vertical photos sometimes too. So being able to do the portrait mode style photos, it's easier to grab like this. It has a shutter button on top, or I can do them like this. The good thing with this lens is I can actually pop out the screen, and I can rotate it if I don't have this closed. And so I can get down, I can set it like this where it's straight, and I can get all the way down to the ground to take some photos. Like there's some frog photos of the gradients I did next to a pond, and I got all the way down to the ground, but I didn't have to like lay down to take them. So, that's my stuck with Sony.
Like $20 for that whole setup, right?
Yeah, just $20 plus a little additional here or there.
Plus extra.
No, that body and lens would run you about close to probably $4,500, maybe $5,000.
Not a cheap hobby to get into. Luckily, it's not a hobby for you; it's a career.
Yeah, I turned it into a career, and I started out very simple, base camera, like a kit, like Sam's Club tile kit.
Yeah, like a Canon Rebel, whatever, TOS 5.
Yep. And start out real, small. Turned out, being a nerd, I'm not too bad at taking photos. Learned tips and tricks over the years, and slowly worked up as my skills grew, and realized I was outgrowing the camera. Then that's when I would upgrade my camera.
The next one. There you go. Well, it shows in the pictures too. So, but Additive Adam asks, why were the HueForge pack pictures so hard to take?
So they weren't necessarily hard to take, but the issue is that I did them essentially straight on. Like I essentially tacked them to the jig I use for taking spool photos. So they were essentially directly straight. So camera, this is the HueForge camera straight on, and taking the photos with the lighting and everything, they didn't look like prints.
They look digital.
They look digital, or like an AI. They look like the AI generated image that was used for the print.
Creating the Hue Forge.
Created for Hue Forge. I think Adam did all those in AI, and I could be wrong, so apologies if so. But so when I cropped it out, it didn't look like an actual print. So I actually had to lay it down flat on a white background and then get it at an angle so you could see that it was a actual physical object. So that was, definitely not really a challenge, as that, they were like, these are great, but they're almost too great because they don't look real. So I had to go back and just change it up a little. And of course, now you see them, flat and at the angle.
Well, now with the improvements of Hue Forge, they'll probably be even harder to get a good picture.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because
without casting like shadows or getting really close to the layer lines just to see like the imperfectness of the layers or something. But
yeah, and I cleaned up and I put all the lights and stuff up before the show. But essentially, that area behind me is where I do most of the photography stuff. And I have a 48-inch light box, a softbox, and then I also have a 2-foot light box. And then I have a third. I actually have a fourth I never really used, but I also have a fourth light that is essentially a direct 20-degree beam, so I can direct light very specifically in an area. For example, the spool photos, when I first did them, there was no shadow. There was all shadow in the center of the spool, so it looked just black in there. So if you look at the spool photos now, there's a little bit of a light, or a little bit of light shines in the center of the spool, and that's just enough to really show that it's like it gives that actual, like, so you can see the cardboard inside the spool, and that's what I use that third light for.
Which leading up to that is Builder's Mark asks, and I know there's certain parts you can't talk about, but could you talk about the process of how you photograph the spools and the models? So of course light boxes and everything, but
yeah. So essentially the biggest thing is just setting up the lights. I pretty much know with my area I use, I have the bigger light box on this side by the closet here. So the bigger light box shines that way. I have a table that's you can kind of see it right there. That's against the wall. I have a jig that was made for me to take these photos. I can't show it off because there are some parts on it that are NDA by the person that made it. But essentially I have a jig that's set up, and then I have essentially a holder that I just clip the spool on and have it angled, and I essentially have everything like marked. So when I put it all together, it's perfectly lined up and marked. Maybe a little bit of tweaking based on where the table and the jig sits. And then I have that third light to say shining in. And it's just essentially, once I get the angle right, it's just rinse and repeat. So essentially I lay all the spools out. Like I had to do 15 spools of the new Copy E colors the other day. And I had them all out of the box, out of the plastic, ready to go. And line it up, make sure it's good. You saw that the other night in our hangout. And I was like, hey, second opinion, does this look about right? Yep. Like making sure I'm just looking at it properly, second set of eyes. And then it's just click, 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 on, off, and click until they're done. And then after that, it's just Photoshop magic.
Yep. Touch them up. And let's see, the last community question we'll take, and we'll go to rapid fire, is Bearded Printer asks, how much of your filament does not fit on the racks behind you?
A lot. So this is majority PLA. I don't remember exactly how many. I'd have to count, but I'm going to say 150, maybe 140, 150 spools back there behind me. I have a 2-foot by 4-foot rack where my printers are sitting on over here. The bottom two racks are stacked completely deep of filament. So probably another 100 plus spools there. And then in my closet, in my bedroom, I actually have rep racks as well that have my ABS, ASA, PET-G, and I think Polymax is in there too. So I have every SKU that Polymaker offers here. So what, 425, probably 440 now, because I think they added new ones, the 15 new copies. So 425, 450 spools. And essentially I'm at the point where I'm having to stuff them wherever I can stuff them at this point. Like I'm probably going to end up having to take this little thing down here and put rep racks in this section so I can, because I don't want to use the lower half of the wall. Because I do use that wall sometimes for photos as a background. And so I've got it set where when it's on the table down here, I can still use that wood wall as a background. So I essentially end up wherever I can put it, that's where I put it.
Yeah. Hey, well, that is it for the community questions. So we're going to move to the rapid fire questions, and you've seen the show once or twice. So of course, starting off, you have a lot of filament. Obviously we just talked about it. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite?
Favorite would probably be currently because it's closest to the color that I would like to see, but isn't out yet, is Starlight Mars. I want a very deep burgundy color from Polymaker, and they don't currently have one yet. But because burgundy's always been my favorite color, most of my vehicles have been that color, so the Starlight Mars kind of hits it for me there. And it's just, of course, with the prints you've done, like with your Deadpool helmet that was at 3D Printopia.
Came out great.
It's it's just a really good color. So that's probably top. Next one would probably be a toss up between the green and gray Galaxy.
Okay. Yep.
So those are I love the Galaxies.
Oh yeah, I love the dark gray. I love that's out.
Yeah.
Took a little while to get it out in the PLA form, but
but it's here.
Got that now too, right? Yeah, you finally got it too.
Yep.
So okay, well, next up, what print are you most proud of?
Honestly, probably this one next to me, which was printed in Cos PLA. It's a Galactic Armory model, and this is one of the first actual cosplay type prints that I did over the years. That I did a Mando helmet, turned out really well, but this one just really seemed to pop for me a little bit. And
now, is that the first one that you've done like a finish to, or?
Probably maybe the second. I did do a Mando helmet many years ago with the Mark III's, but it was like 20 some pieces put together, like with bamboo, a little bit bigger, so it wasn't quite as bad to do that. Do this, but just the weathering, and of course the light's probably gonna blow it out. But just the weathering and the detail, it looks looks really, really good on the shelf, and probably what I'm most proud of.
And you wear it around the house quite often.
As much as I can, unless my wife will let me.
Comes to the dinner table with the helmet on. Take it off now.
Exactly.
Okay, well, let's see. With what 3D print related photo or photo shoot has been the most fun or rewarding that you've done?
Fun, rewarding. I don't know. Let's see. They're all. I mean, as far as the photo shoots, they're all very similar because it means it's a very similar process. I don't know if there's any one that's more.
I'd say more so like the latest photo shoots, like your outdoor ones and your industrial shop one and all that stuff.
So probably a toss up between the macro photos that I have coming that'll be out on the website soon.
Okay, yep.
Those were actually a little bit challenging to get at what's needed, but when I finally got it and I got it dialed in, it was very rewarding to see that. And of course, I know you've seen it, and it'll be on the website soon. But I got super high end, close up, detailed macro photos of any filament that has a finish to it. So if it's a dual color, if it's a Galaxy, if it's a marble,
Celestial.
all those Celestial, you can get really close and you can actually see like the additive in the filament. So that was probably the most rewarding, because that one took me a couple tries to really get dialed in where the team was satisfied with it.
Oh yeah, well, like you said too. I mean, once you see it too, it's like, wow, like this is like a microscope.
Yeah, very close up. I actually had to buy a new lens for that too, to get that process, but it was worth it to get those final shots.
Oh yeah. Okay, and then of course you're a Star Wars fan, obviously. Who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Favorite character? Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, probably General Grievous.
General Grievous, okay. And then now, last but not least, with General Grievous is, what is not just your favorite, because I like to cause turmoil out there in the world. What is the best Star Wars movie to date?
Best to date, personally, Rogue One.
There you go. I think somebody else has said that before, because I've asked this. Usually the Star Wars people, I love to get their feedback, and usually some people go to war with what they think. So at least you didn't say Jar Jar Binks is your favorite character, so that's a plus.
Yeah, I don't hate on Jar Jar, but
or Spock. I'm surprised you didn't choose Spock.
Yeah, Spock was he's there.
Well, with that all said, I have no more questions for you. I'll give you the floor if you got any websites you want to link, or socials, projects you're working on, and where can people find you? How can they see what you're doing?
Honestly, the biggest thing, I do have a website. I don't really update it as good as I should. It's my username, disturbmedic167.com. Probably need to go through and try to update that better.
You can't see it.
Yeah, it's that way. But I do post on X from time to time. Most of my post on X, with that username, is 3D printing related stuff. I do have an Instagram Disturb Medic 167 underscore 3D. The other one will take you to my full-time job, which is a little bit different. Not always approved by some. So underscore 3D with that is a big one. But again, I don't post on that as much as I should either, because honestly, keep an eye on
what
the.
you do is getting posted on Polymaker.com.
Yeah, so keep an eye on Polymaker website as you see updates on the website with stuff. I say most of what you see updating will come from projects that I've done. So that's where you'll see most of my work is on the website itself.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been a long time coming. We kind of started the journey together, and it's we're now, I think you're episode 44, so you're guest 44, but you're the 43rd new guest, since I kind of cheated and repeated somebody there. But thank you for coming on the show. He's often in our hangouts too. He's fun to talk to. Even though he's the brother I never asked for.
Stuck with me.
It is what it is. So thank you very much, James. I'll let you go for the night, and have a good one, and I'll catch you soon.
Thank you. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
And there you have it, episode number 44. I'm pretty sure that's right. I need to start actually categorizing these, and I need to make a list of all the guests that I've had so we can kind of do a recap when we do hit the 52 weeks in a row. James has been a big part of a lot of stuff that we've done. He's helped me, like I said, on the Discord. Again, we've had a friendship that was brought together really because of Polymaker. I mean, that there's no run around lie about it. We both kind of got involved with Polymaker almost the same way, and then just those paths crossed. And he's a good friend, and we love to jab at each other, so it's a good time. So it was fun having him on the show finally. But we also do have other projects. We don't have just the show. We do have Polymaker figurines, or do we? Stay tuned for that. I don't have anything else to announce because it ended. It ended on December 31st, I believe. The last, the 151 posted. What's in store? I have no idea. Stay tuned on that. We do still have Polymaker Education posting videos, and that is led by Creatrix Brit. And that is across the TikTok, the Instagram, the everywhere. And anytime that she releases a video of the model she's presenting for educational uses, that model becomes available for free for you to print. So that's available on Maker World. The Polymaker figurines back on that too is that all those models, 151 of the first Pokemon, all those models, multicolor or single color, are available on Maker World on Antoine Dimensions _ figurines, I believe. And I know I mispronounced it, Pezlas. If you're still here, I still can't get the dimensions part right. But Antoine, I know is right. But Creatrix Brit again is running the Polymaker Education. Go show her some love over there. And then we also have Pezlas that does an in-printing color show sponsored by Polymaker on her Twitch stream every Wednesday. And that is at twitch.tv/Pezlas. So definitely make sure to join there. Got a lot of stuff coming this year, guys. I can't say anything but we're always making new colors. We like the new surface effects, new anything. There's stuff coming. Maybe here in a few months. We'll see. That's not an ETA. That's not a guarantee. There's things being worked on. I think you guys will love. So stay tuned on all the Polymaker 3D or Polymaker _ 3D on all the socials except on YouTube. It's just at Polymaker. So if you're not following already, do so. We also have this show every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. And again, 44 consecutive weeks in a row. Consecutive in a row is repetitive. But either way, we haven't missed a show in 44 weeks, guys. So thank you all for showing the support through that this entire time. But we're getting ready to do a giveaway. So if you have not yet, make sure to type in "I am awesome" in the chat. You'll see some people doing it. Just do exactly how they do. Space it. Don't make it all combined. Capital letters don't really matter, but just do as you see Tintalon did, Timor did, Hobbybane did, 3D Printing Lawyer over on YouTube's done it. All you guys get that typed in there. We got 52 entries. It's climbing up now, so get that going. I'm going to find out who we're going to rate over on Twitch as soon as we end this show off. And let's see here. Got this here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull up. We're gonna switch to this next scene. There we go. And it worked. Look at that. So real quick too, while you guys are getting your last chance to type in "I am awesome" to enter for a spool of filament. I don't care where you're at in the world. enter. You can win. There's not a restriction. It's not US only. It's not US, Canada only. It is international. So if you're afraid that you might not be able to get it, enter. We'll get it to you. We ship filament everywhere. Trust me, I process a lot of orders, so they're going everywhere and in between. So I am awesome. There you go. Requiem, they got it in there. Yeah, Alex Swavely, I agree. I'm nothing against the Twitch people. But we haven't got a YouTube winner yet, so I'm waiting for that YouTube win. But real quick too, watch our socials, watch our Discord and the announcement page. Make sure you're applied to the role of announcement, because we are going to have a celebration. We are going to have a 10K celebration. We're well over that now. I think we're like 10,500, and it continues to grow. So I need to get on that. I have everything approved. I just got to get the details all ironed out. There will be a live stream. For those that can't make it, I will have a Discord side giveaway for some filament. But stay tuned. Watch those. Watch the Twitter. I'll announce it on all the socials. Tiffany will help announce it across the board. So make sure you guys are paying attention. I see a lot of first-time chats. I am awesome. A lot of new newcomers. Thank you guys very much. I hope there will be some wins. And, we got... Actually, let's see here. We got 103 viewers. I'm going to go ahead and you got time to hit I am awesome for 10 seconds. We're going to do 5 giveaways. 5 giveaways today. I think that's the most I've done. Not a ton, but I got to save some because there's, might be some stuff coming up for the Discord celebration, and maybe some really cool stuff for the 52-week, 12 months of Meet the Polymaker, of seeing this guy's face, whether I'm sick or not. You're seeing my face. Where do I hit that at? Goonies, never say die. Just in chat, type in I am awesome if you have not. If that's what you're asking about. You don't have to enter anything. You don't have to do exclamation points. Just type in the phrase I space am space awesome. There you go. Perfect. That enters you in. We're going to do the first drawing in 5, 4. Just kidding. I can't count down that much. It's too hard. First up, who we got? We got a YouTube winner. It's going to be Twitch. Da Vinci, congratulations, winner over on Twitch. Don't leave yet, everybody. We're going to draw 4 more. And after that, we are going to raid into Digital Dragon and show him our love over there. So I'm going to draw again. And for the winners, contact me at joel.fin@polymaker.com or message me over on the Discord. I am at polymaker-joel. You'll see me up in the top of the list there, lit up under the Polymaker team. Just DM me and I'll get you your spool. And second draw here, we've got Pete Savis, reprinted 3D. See your name everywhere. So congratulations. You've got a spool of filament coming your way. Again, contact me at the email or on Discord. We're just going to draw again. Not too far over, only 10 minutes over, so we're almost done here. This is draw number 3. Can we get a YouTube side? Come on. Nervous Pajamas. Look at that. You came here to watch a friend and you won a spool of filament. Doesn't get much better than that, right? And we're going to draw number 4. Let's see who it is. Look at Zombie Hedgehog entering in there. I'm rejecting all wins if Zombie Hedgehog wins. AFM380 on Twitch. Email me at joel.fin@polymaker.com or message me on the Discord. Discord.polymaker.com if you guys are not part of it. It's a fun crowd, knowledgeable crowd. We like to hang out. Sometimes you might even hear me do some karaoke in the chat and the hangout. Just depends on how I'm feeling. And last but not least, draw number 5. Can we get a YouTube win? Can we? Come on. Pez Liz, you're in there too. Frankenbee Gaming, another familiar name. There you go, Frankenbee. You know how to get a hold of me, so you won yourself a spool of filament. So now with that said, I want to thank you all, as always, for your support. I'm trying to find my mouse on my monitors. We're going to raid out the Digital Dragon, starting the year off. Make sure to show him love. Tell him hello from Polymaker. Great guy that knows his stuff. And he builds 1.5 million printers. I don't know what his number is in the end. Look like he's doing some of the next one carbon right now, so we should catch him just in time. But we are again here next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. come join us if you enjoyed what you saw. And also follow us on all the socials. Come to Discord, hang out with us. But with that said, you guys all have a wonderful night, a good weekend, and a good week. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.